An argument suddenly broke out in a lush green forest amidst the chirping of thousands of birds. The shouting and arguing came from a small crow with sparkling eyes and jet black feathers, facing a kind old monk meditating under a tree. "You don't understand me," the crow said bitterly, its wings trembling slightly in anger. "How can you understand the suffering of someone with ugly black feathers like me? This world is not for people like me." The monk opened his eyes, his gaze as calm as an autumn stream. He slowly asked, "Why do you think so? Why do you despise yourself so much?" The crow raised its head and sighed. "Look at me. No one loves this black color. I have no beauty, no value. No one cares about me. I live in the trash. Have you ever seen anyone keep a crow as a pet? No. Everyone avoids me. If I could choose again, I would rather be a swan." The monk smiled, a gentle smile that seemed to calm the storm in the crow's heart. He said, "Okay, if that is what you wish, I will allow you to become a swan. But first, go meet a swan and ask it about happiness." With the monk's instructions, the crow immediately flew to the lake where the swan was gently gliding on the water. The sunlight shone on its pure white feathers, creating a splendid beauty. The crow exclaimed, "Wow! What a wonderful sight! You are so lucky to be blessed with such perfect beauty. You must be the happiest creature in the world." But the swan shook its head sadly. "No. Do you think I am happy just because of my white feathers? People see white and associate it with death and coffins. They admire me, but no one wants to be with me. Do you know how lonely I feel?" The crow was surprised. "You are not happy? Then what do you want to be?" The swan replied, "If I could, I would like to be a parrot. Parrots have bright colors and are loved and cared for. People pamper parrots and teach them to talk. That is the dream life." The crow decided to meet a parrot to understand more. After a long flight, the crow finally found a parrot sitting on a tree branch. Its bright red and blue feathers stood out. "Hello, my friend," the crow said. "You are wonderful. Your colorful feathers surely make people love you. You must be very happy." But the parrot just sighed. "Do you think I am happy? Number it is because of my color that I am always noticed. People keep me in a cage, making me a pastime. I am not free to fly like you. My life is just a gilded cage." The crow sadly returned to the monk and told him what it had heard. But the monk just gently said, "In that case, try meeting a peacock. Perhaps you will find the answer." This time, the crow flew far away, to a village where people were gathered around a dancing peacock. Its colorful tail feathers sparkled in the sunlight. The crowd admired, took pictures, and applauded. The crow approached and asked, "You are the most beautiful creature I have ever seen. Surely, you must be happier than anyone else." The peacock stopped dancing and looked at the crow with sad eyes. It said, "Do you know why I dance? It is the only way I can survive. People love my beauty, but this beauty makes me miserable. Hunters are always lurking to kill me, pluck my feathers, and sell them. Do you know what it feels like to live in fear?" The crow was stunned. It was not expected that even the magnificent peacock was not happy. Finally, the crow returned to the monk, his heart heavy. It said, "Sir, I have seen swans, parrots, and peacocks. They are all unhappy. Each has its suffering, but I still do not understand who is truly the happiest creature in the world." The monk smiled gently. "Don't you realize? You are the happiest being." The crow was surprised. "Me? But how can you be happy? The monk said, no one is chasing you. You don't have to live in a cage. You don't have to try to please anyone. You are free. You are yourself. And you don't need to change to be special. You have everything you need to be happy. The crow was silent. For the first time in its life, it saw itself with different eyes. Its black feathers were no longer a burden, but a uniqueness. It realized that happiness does not come from comparing itself to others, but from accepting and loving itself. In life, we are often like the crow, looking around and seeing ourselves as inferior to others, then imprisoning ourselves in a series of sad and resentful days. But do you realize? It is in that comparison that we lose the opportunity to see our true value. The crow was busy pursuing the beauty of the swan, the prominence of the parrot, or the splendor of the peacock, forgetting that its freedom and simplicity are what all other creatures crave. Happiness is not about how you look to others, but how you see yourself. When we stop judging and start accepting ourselves for who we are, the door to peace and joy will open. Therefore, happiness does not come from changing yourself to fit the world's standards, but from loving and respecting yourself. Are you ready to see yourself fully? Happiness begins with self-acceptance. Did you know that, according to a recent survey, more than 70% of people spend at least an hour a day comparing themselves to others on social media? Just think, that's 365 hours a year. Enough time to learn a new language, hit the gym to get in shape, or even write a book, just to beat yourself up over someone else's glamorous life. But let me tell you this, even Leonardo da Vinci, the man who painted the perfect Mona Lisa, was unhappy with himself at one point. Yes, he left many of his paintings unfinished because he felt they were not good enough. So you're not alone. But here's the important question. If even a genius like Da Vinci wasn't perfect, why are we trying to make ourselves so? The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs the best version of you. I used to be like you. I spent my days surfing the internet, looking at other people's dream lives, the lavish vacations, the sunny breakfasts by the window, the adorable dogs in the perfect house. Me? Sitting on the couch in my crumpled pajamas, holding a bag of chips, thinking, when will I be like them? But then one day, I realized that happiness doesn't come from being someone else. It comes from loving yourself, even in your ugliest pajamas. Sounds cliche, right? But think back to a time when you were truly happy. Was it when you were doing what you loved, with people you loved, and not caring what you looked like? That's the key. When you accept yourself, you stop chasing after meaningless standards and start living your true self. As Oscar Wilde said, be yourself because everyone else is playing someone else. So, how do you get started? Try this. Every day, write down 3 things you love about yourself, no matter how small. Maybe it's the way you make great coffee, the way you listen to your friends, or even your ability to sing poorly, but with passion. The important thing is to realize that you are valuable and unique. Now be honest with me. Have you ever compared yourself to someone else and felt inferior? Comment below. I want to know your story, because it might inspire millions of others to find happiness within themselves. And if you've ever overcome negative thoughts to love yourself, please share how you did it. I'd love to hear from you. So, you understand that happiness begins with loving and accepting yourself, right? But let me ask you this. If you are ready to accept yourself, do you have the courage to see life's challenges, the difficulties that you think are disasters, as special gifts? Don't shake your head. Remember the crow in the story. The jet black feathers that it once hated were the very thing that protected it from danger, the symbol of freedom that other birds longed for. Life is the same. Sometimes difficulties are just gifts wrapped in wrinkled paper. Do you dare to open them to discover their true meaning? Let's take a deeper look at that. Every difficulty is a special gift. Have you heard the story of Thomas Edison? He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." But did you know that before he invented the light bulb, which changed the world, Edison was called a slow learner by his teachers and had to drop out of school? Imagine if he had stopped because of those early difficulties. What would have happened to us? You're probably reading this story right now, by candlelight. Be honest, have you ever felt like the difficulties are crushing you? Like the whole universe is against you? But the amazing thing is, the challenges you face today are the ingredients to create a stronger, brighter tomorrow. Yes, difficulties are not disasters. They are gifts wrapped in rough paper, difficult to open. But if you dare to open them, you will see the true value inside. Let me tell you a personal story. I once failed miserably at a big project that I'd put my heart into. It felt terrible, like I was standing on a broken bridge, watching all my hopes fall into the rushing water. But then, from that failure, I realized that I learned how to manage my time better, how to set limits, and most importantly, understand that every fall is a lesson that brings us closer to success. You know, we often think of difficulties as enemies, but in fact, they are teachers. They teach you patience when things don't go your way, teach you courage in the face of uncertainty, and sometimes they force you to stop, look back, and see that you have come further than you thought. As Friedrich Nietzsche said, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." And you are living proof of that. You just don't realize it. So now, take a look at your life and ask yourself, what are some challenges you've faced that ultimately helped you grow? Who knows, you might find that those badly wrapped gifts helped you become the amazing version of yourself you are today. We'd love to hear from you. Dear friend, thank you for taking your precious time to listen to today's story. It is your presence that makes this journey more meaningful. Each view, each comment, and each share of yours is not just a number, but also the heartbeat of a community spreading love and awareness together. We all know that life is not always easy, but we believe that with each other's companionship, every difficulty can become a launching pad for us to go further. You are the fire that lights up the belief for millions of people out there that no matter how thorny the journey is, we can still turn it into special gifts. If this story has touched your heart, do not hesitate to click like to spread the message. Share to send this inspiration to your loved ones, and leave a special comment. I accept myself and am willing to turn every difficulty into an opportunity. We look forward to reading your inspiring stories. Thank you for being you.